All right, hi folks, this is Larry Mussolino. I wanted to record a short video on calculating weighted moving averages. And this is coming from Unit 9 in MM305. In particular, I wanted to show you how to use an Excel spreadsheet to automate this kind of analysis. So I'm here in Hawk's Learning. I'm looking at a representative problem. And here's the setup. It's telling us that here's the data of the number of customers a restaurant serves per year. And the question is, find a 2-period weighted moving average for the year 2004. All right, well, the first thing I want to notice on this problem is this data is organized on a yearly basis. I could see years 2000, 2001, 2002, and so on. So when they mention 2 periods, they're really meaning a two-year weighted moving average. All right, and they're telling me to apply weights of 3 for one time period in the past and apply a weight of 1 for 2 time periods in the past. So here's what they're really asking me to do. They're asking me to come up with a forecast for 2004 for the number of customers, and they want me to use the 2 previous periods. That really means the 2 previous years. Well, here's the data coming from the table. In 2002, there were 15,241 customers. In 2003, there were 14,360 customers. And we want to come up with this forecast for 2004. Now, when they say apply the weights, what they mean is use a weight of 3 for the 2003 data and use a weight of 1 for the 2002 data. So if I was going to do this manually, the way I would do it is I would set up the forecast for 2004, where I would take a weight of 3 times the 2003 data, 14,360, plus a weight of 1 for the 2002 data, which is 15,241. And then on the bottom of this fraction, I'm going to divide by the sum of these weights. In our case, the sum of the weights is 4, right? Because I had a weight of 3 and a weight of 1. Add those numbers together, I get the sum of the weights is 4. And I can work this out on my calculator and get this result. But I want to show you how to use Excel to automate this. So as you do more and more examples like this, you can have a quick and efficient way to answer these kinds of questions. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. So what I'm going to do is let me go to Unit 9 Live Binder. So I'm going to come here to Unit 9 and come down here to Live Binder. Here it is. When you come here to Live Binder, notice here's a green tab that says Excel Workbook. So I'm going to click on that. And in Unit 9, we're really talking about 3 different types of forecasting methods. There's a method for weighted moving average. That's what we're talking about right now. There's another method for just moving average and another method for exponential forecasting. Well, of course, our example is a weighted moving average. So I'm going to open up this spreadsheet. So let me go ahead and click on this spreadsheet. And we'll get started here. All right, now one thing you'll notice is when you open up the spreadsheet, there's an enable editing button at the top. You may have this or you may not have it. I do have it, so I'm going to be sure to click on that so I can make changes to the spreadsheet. All right, well, let me look down at the very bottom of the spreadsheet. You'll notice there's a tab for 2 periods, tab for 3 periods, 4 periods, and so on. So what you have to do is be sure that you click on one of these tabs based on the specific problem you're working on. In our example, it was a 2-period moving average. So I'm going to be sure to click down here where it says 2 periods. So I'm clicking down here where it says 2 periods. Okay, and now notice that this green box is automatically updated to say we're going to be working with 2 periods. Now, what I'd like to do is copy the data from Hawk's Learning into the spreadsheet. So let me move this data over here. And I'm going to copy this data into this column. For example, I'm going to make this first row be the year 2000. And the data is 16,520. So I'm copying that from this, this table that Hawks is giving me. Let me give you another example. The next row would be 2001. The data from the Hawks table is 17,107. And I'm going to go ahead and continue to fill in this table, this column in Excel in the same way. All right, so I'm going to fill in this green column in Excel. I'm going to pause the video while I do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and copied the table from Hawks Learning into this green column. Into this. All right, so here's the data copied into the green column. The other item I need to do is enter the weights that Hawks Learning specified. So notice they said enter a weight of 3 for one time period in the past and enter a weight of 1 for 2 time periods in the past. Well, here are the green boxes for me to populate these weights. So I entered a 3 in the second green box and I entered a 1 in the first green box to correspond to the setup that Hawks Learning specified. All right, well, that's really all I need to do. Now I can go to this orange column. If you notice, this orange column here says weighted moving average forecast. So for each one of these months, these orange cells are going to give me the weighted average forecast. Well, in this problem, they're asking us to go to the year 2004. So I'm going to come here to the year 2004, and I'm going to come over to this orange box, and here is my forecast for the year 2004. It looks like Hawks is telling me to round to 1 decimal place. So it looks like my answer for this problem is going to be 14,580.3. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and type that into Hawks. So again, what I did in the spreadsheet is I made sure I clicked down at the bottom tab for 2 periods, entered the data in this green column, and then entered the weights in this other green column. And then the forecasts are going to be in this orange column called weighted moving average forecast. All right, so here's my answer in Hawks Learning. All right, now one other comment. Hawks might have a question that asks you to come up with a forecast. So here's a new question you might come across. It might say, what is the forecast for the next time period? Now, when they say next time period, what they mean is what would be the next year in this table? So for the next time period. Well, if you look at this table, it ends at 2008. So really this question would be asking me, what is your forecast for the number of customers in the year 2009? Well, I can get that answer from Excel because I could think of this row as being 2009. And I would come over to this orange box, and this would be my forecast. So if this was the question, my answer would be this orange box that says 17,147.8. Okay. All right, let me go to the next part of this question. It's going to ask me a slightly different question. So let me go to the next part of this. All right. Well, this is the same kind of question. It's the same data set, but here's the question. It says, find a 3-period weighted moving average. Of course, they really mean 3 years. Again, it's for the year 2004. But now the weights they want me to use are 2, 2, and 1. So let's go ahead and work out this problem. Now, notice this is a 3-period moving average. So what that means is I have to come down here to this Excel spreadsheet and click on this 3-period tab down here at the very bottom of the spreadsheet. So I'm going to click here 3 periods. All right, well, I'd like to copy and paste that data. So let me do that. I'm going to go back to this spreadsheet and I'm going to copy and paste this data so I don't have to retype it again. All right, so here's the data copied. Let me just clear out some of these cells because we don't need this. Of course, if they ask me about 2009, that would be the row. All right, the only other thing I have to do now is enter these new weights that are given in the problem. And notice Excel is asking me for 3 weights in these 3 green boxes. And that's because I told Excel that this is a 3-period weighted moving average. So that means I need weights for each one of these 3 periods. Well, here's what it's telling me. Enter a weight of 2, 1 period in the past, then another 2 for 2 periods, and then a weight of 1 for 3 periods in the past. So really what that's telling me to do is enter the weights as 1, 2, and 2. All right, and again, I'm going to go to the orange column to get my answers for the weighted moving average forecast. And of course, they're asking me about the year 2004 in this problem. So I'll come here to the row for 2004. And here is the answer I'm looking for. So my answer in this example is 15,261.8. In the instructions here say round your answer to 1 decimal place. So that is going to be my answer for this question. So I'll type that in, 15,000. 261.8. All right, folks, I hope this is helpful. By the way, if this question had asked, what is your forecast for the next time period? Again, they would be asking for the year 2009. And I would come here to Excel, go to the row for 2009, and this orange box would be my answer, 17,497.2. Okay, folks, please use the Excel spreadsheet. It'll be a big time saver. It will avoid manual calculations. And be sure when you open up this weighted moving average spreadsheet to select the correct number of periods from the tabs along the very bottom of the Excel file. So let's call that step 1. Step 2 is going to be enter the data in this green column. Step 3 is going to be enter the weights in this green column. And step 4 is get the answer from the orange cells in this weighted moving average forecast. All right, folks, hope this is helpful as you're working in Unit 9. Please let your instructor know if there's any questions.